We're Dunfermline High School's Press Pack Gang. I'm Daniel.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Ellen.
And I'm Rachel.
And we are bringing you the BBC School News Report. Today our stories include the school uniform debate,
sexism in children's toys,
the changes occurring in Dunfermline High Street,
and the effect of 2014's Commonwealth Games.
First up will be my story on school uniform. School uniform usually consists of a white t-shirt with a white Dunfermline High School tie, black trousers or a skirt, and black shoes. Usually hooded tops or jackets are not allowed in class. Many teachers and pupils have different opinions on school uniform. I have interviewed both a teacher and a pupil to see what their views are. When interviewing a deputy rector at Dunfermline High School, she had this to say. What are your views on the school uniform policy?
School uniform policy, I happen to think it's a very sensible, fair, pragmatic policy that we have in the school.
Yeah. Did you wear school uniform when you were at school?
I did wear school uniform, and I was at a school in Fife, and everybody in the school wore school uniform, so that was the absolute norm in the olden days.
Yeah. Do you think schools are too strict nowadays on school uniform?
Absolutely not. If anything, I don't think we're strict enough. I think we're very reasonable, very fair, and we try to work with parents and families to ensure that youngsters are in uniform.
Yeah. Do you feel that school uniform helps prevent prejudice between pupils at school?
Yes, I do, because even with uniform on, you can still see all the individual groups in the schools, like the goths, the emos, the skater kids. But I think when we're all wearing uniform, we're all on message, we're all saying we're pupils at Dunfermline High, we come here to work and learn, and I feel like that unites people.
Yeah.
We had visitors from Norway in the school last week, and one of the things that the staff said, and actually the exchange students have said, is that in Norway they don't wear uniform, or certainly the part of Norway they're from, and they do wear it here and they like it and they think it brings a sort of sense of community in the school. So
yeah. Do you like Dunfermline High's current school uniform standard?
Yes, I do. I think most pupils in the school wear it. It's very straightforward: white shirt, black jumper, black trousers, black skirt. For youngsters that don't wear it, what we try to do is we send a letter home, because sometimes parents are not aware their youngsters aren't wearing uniform.
Yeah, of course.
But other times we notice that people have maybe brought brand new shoes and they're maybe red. So we write a very nice letter home to say, when you're replacing those shoes, would you maybe give consideration to replacing them with black ones? Okay. So I think we're very fair, and I think the uniform's very easy to conform to.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Beattie. As you can see, the Deputy is definitely in favour of school uniform being worn at all times in schools. When I interviewed Katie from S3, she had this to say.
Hi, Daniel.
What are your views on the school uniform policy?
I think I understand why they want us to have it, but I don't think it gives us enough individuality.
Yeah. Do you think schools are too strict nowadays on school uniform?
Yes, I think they are a lot too strict on socks. People wear socks to school over black tights and they call them up for it, so I think they are a bit too strict.
Yeah. Do you feel that uniform helps prevent prejudice between pupils at school?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I think people nowadays are less prejudiced about labels than they ever have been.
Yeah. Do you like Dunfermline High School's current uniform standard?
Yeah, I think it makes us look smart and tidy.
Do you think that schools should contribute to the payment of uniform?
No, I think school uniform these days are cheaper than they have ever been, so schools shouldn't have to pay for it just so people obey the rules.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie.
That's okay.
Katie and the Deputy clearly have some different views on uniform. Katie has raised some clear points about the school being too strict on uniform. However, the Deputy has said that the school uniform unites us. This reflects on the school's attitude and the pupils' attitude. Next will be Rachel discussing sexism in children's toys.
Thanks, Daniel. Sexism is very common in children's toys, and you could be promoting it to your young children and not even know it. Many parents are victims of these sexist marketing schemes. Could your generation be the next? sex. Living in a society that prides itself in the advancement of technology, culture and tolerance, one would think something as archaic as sexism would be simply non-existent and completely unacceptable. While outright sexism isn't tolerated, companies have a worrying habit of playing into gender stereotypes to sell products. Targeting the unsuspecting parents of young children, toy companies often market toys associated with a certain gender in a way they think would be appealing towards the gender. This often causes children to assume certain toys, such as cars, are for boys and others, like Barbie, are for girls. Toy marketing strategies have caused outrage recently, with many parents venting their frustrations over social media about the lack of unisex toys and the way toys are marketed. Toy marketing strategies have caused outrage recently, with many parents venting their frustrations over social media about the lack of unisex toys and the way toys are marketed. A toy cleaning set sparked this indignation when a company, It's Girl Stuff, released a pink and purple toy brush and pan set, which was later sold at Sports Direct. Many parents were left fuming and took to Twitter to get the word out about what they so rightly felt was a sexist product aimed to condition little girls into thinking that cleaning is girl stuff and a woman's responsibility. A number of children have also expressed their confusion and displeasure at gender stereotyping within toys themselves. 7-year-old Charlotte Benjamin's letter to Lego has recently gone viral. She wrote,
Dear Lego Company, I am Charlotte. I am 7 years old and love Legos, but I don't like there are more Lego boy people and barely any Lego girl people. Today I went to the toy store and saw Legos in 2 sections, the pink for the girls and the blue for the boys. All the girls did was sit at home, go to bed and shop, and they had no jobs, but the boys went on adventures, worked, saved people and had jobs, even swam with sharks. I want you to make more Lego girl people and let them go on adventures and have fun, okay? Thank you.
This insightful letter from a 7-year-old shows more maturity and sense than most adults in the marketing world, highlighting the difference in the portrayal of girls and boys within toys, with girls sticking to their gender stereotype of shopping and staying at home while boys went out and had adventures. Hopefully other children feel the way Charlotte does and aren't buying into gender stereotyping. After all, these children are the future, and if they don't break the cycle, who will? Coming up next, Ellen will be discussing how Dunfermline High Street has taken a turn for the worst. Stay tuned.
There have been many recent changes to Dunfermline Shopping Centre, High Street and layout of the town. In the past months we have lost a few surprising businesses from our High Street, including the Early Learning Centre, Argos, Claire's and to our great despair, McDonald's. Dunfermline High Street is definitely changing. Our town has always been very popular to shoppers as the parking facilities are excellent and for many it is local and within walking distance. It has had a wide variety of different shops and businesses to suit our leisure. Recently we have been disappointed in the array of items available and goods on offer. Some prices rising, shops losing businesses and therefore closing. With all these losses we have gained and are in the process of gaining a few new shops. There is yet another pound store, and other stores are expanding. For example, Boots has replaced the old Argos, and Shoe Zone has moved up the High Street, replacing the Early Learning Centre, seemingly to gain better business further up the High Street. Also in the centre, there is a new gaming store, which has taken the place of Bright House. The cause of this movement is generally due to the lack of money businesses have. Customers no longer have the same amount of money to spend because many grocery items and petrol have increased in price and people are losing their jobs. One surprising example is McDonald's, which was usually a popular place for kids to eat out, but has now closed. This is possibly down to the fact that other fast food places like Greggs, Domino's and Subway are opening all the time and providing competition. Is it all healthy competition, or is there simply too many businesses? Next up, Rachel will be discussing the Commonwealth Games and how it could affect Scotland's health.
Hello, my name is Rachel and I am discussing whether Scotland holding the Commonwealth Games will create a positive attitude to sports, or will the legacy of the Games be enough for us lazy Scots? Are the Games a lasting legacy or a flash in the frying pan? The Scottish Government have predicted that the Commonwealth Games will be an unrivalled opportunity to boost participation in sports and have announced that they will be spending £8 million a year in order to support Scotland's athletes ahead of Glasgow 2014. But will this money be spent in the already active to take up yet another sport? Is Scotland just too lazy to get up and participate in a sport, or is the glory of just watching the Games enough for us? When it comes to sports, many of us greatly admire the athlete, but this is not always enough to encourage people to take up an elite sport. Again, the influence is with the already active to participate further and reach new boundaries, and not to those who do not take part already. The Commonwealth is a great way for people to learn what sports are out there, but evidence shows that this type of marketing raises awareness, influences attentions, but rarely changes the behaviour of us lazy Scots. Scottish Government also plan to give children in primary schools at least 2 hours of physical education a week. But are 2 hours of PE really going to encourage our youngsters to be the next Jessica Ennis? Make them to thrive to jump off boards like Tom Daley? The answer is probably not. If you were to ask the average child if they would rather sit on the sofa with a chocolate bar or run a triathlon, I can assure you the vast majority would choose the chocolate bar. I know where I would rather be. I interviewed Scottish road cyclist Robert Wardell, who is hoping to compete in the 2014 Commonwealth Games. Here's what he had to say.
I've always ridden a bike really from a young age, but I started competing in cycling. I followed my older brother into the sport of mountain biking, and it was through a local bike shop and local cycling club that we both really got engaged. Initially, our first kind of mountain biking experience, I guess, would have been on holiday in the Cairngorms. But following that, my brother became really engaged in it and joined a local cycling club, Sandy Wallace Cycles, little plug for them.
You said that you developed unhealthy habits. How did you break these habits?
It was just, I guess it was through, I mean, I went to this school and when you go from primary school into high school, there's so much more, you go out to school grounds for lunch and things like that.
Yeah.
And, it's the chip shop's just down the road, isn't it? Everyone goes to the chip shop for, and it's I guess it was, I became aware of, I learned a little bit more about healthy eating. I think it was part of the education that we got, but also because I was competing in sport, I was quite motivated to learn about these things as well, because I became quite motivated in my sport and wanted to improve.
How can young people develop a winning attitude?
What we often talk about is goal setting and becoming aware of goal setting. So it's a case of just learning what you setting your own goals, figuring out what motivates you, what you would like to do, and making those plans. A lot of it comes down to your kind of organisation and figuring out what makes you tick as well. What do you want to do?
And finally, what are the chances of you getting me free tickets to the Commonwealth Games? As a supporter.
Actually, if I qualify and I go, I'll only get 4 tickets allocated to me. So it's going to be a big bribe, I reckon. I'll get 4 tickets, so I think you can fight my mum if you want.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
From school uniform and sexism to the Commonwealth Games in Dunfermline High Street, a wide variety of subjects have been discussed today.
We would like to thank you all for listening, and we hope you have enjoyed. From all of us at PPG,
Goodbye.